Are you tired of all those overplayed, worn-out Christmas tunes?
Oh, buy and sell, steady every day.
Are you looking for something a little more educational and entertaining, even if it sounds far too much like a starving, dying Yeti?
Busy markets, movie no catalyst, scan with the app all day. In the air, there's a feeling of trading. Oh, I like it, but this is terrible.
Are you looking to add a little more Bowen to your life?
Oh, you better create a trading plan. You better not deviate from that trading plan. You better stick to that trading plan. I'm telling you why. I don't know if I quite got that right.
The SteadyTrade Christmas album.
I'm dreaming of a steady trading plan. I need to bring out more Elvis in that.
Just one more volley in the assault against Christmas.
Stephen, the red-nosed trader, had a very shiny nose, 'cause he was always drinking. Welcome to the special Christmas edition of the Steady Trade podcast. I mean, as we head into the end of the year, it has been an amazing year in stock trading, and now, especially in the last month, I mean, if you're involved in finance, I'm sure you have not been, or even if you're not involved in finance or trading, I'm sure you have not been able to ignore what I've kind of referred to as crypto mania. Cryptocurrencies have just gone crazy this December. Bitcoin was already on a multi-year run. A lot of the lesser known coins were running, but now really as we've come into December, Bitcoin went parabolic. You know, I think I'd have to look at the chart, but back in November, October, it was probably 10,000 a Bitcoin, touched almost $20,000 dollars a Bitcoin a week ago. And now has been the time that Stephen and I, and many of you that trade, equities, that trade stocks, have really been waiting for, because up until this point, I would say the equities have not really participated in this cryptocurrency boom, which I think is, in my opinion, just getting started. I think 2018 will be the year of cryptocurrencies. But we have seen, I mean, literally this week, especially, I mean, this episode will be released on Christmas. We're recording it the week before Christmas. There have been 10, 20, 50 stocks with they have just done the old school penny stock maneuver where they drop cryptocurrency or blockchain or Bitcoin into a press release. And I mean, LFIN was the greatest example. Was a recent IPO that went from $5 to $140 in 2 trading days, and then at this point is giving it all back. So it gives amazing trading opportunities for the longs and the shorts. So I know where you come from, Stephen. I mean, I know you're still sticking with your short kind of process and your short bias. I know you've been doing very, very well. Saw a tweet today that made me happy about some of the consistency you found. Have you been shorting these crypto plays, or have you kind of been focusing on others?
Oh, well, Tim, I would like to first just start off by saying hallelujah. I mean, hallelujah, and praise this festive occasion. Isn't it just the time to rejoice with family and praise special moments with one another? I mean, I'd like to start with that.
Yeah, and yeah, whether or not you observe Christmas, I think all of us kind of, as we head into the end of the year, it's a great time for family and a great time for reflection, for sure. So
absolutely, and I'll again say hallelujah, and also let's reflect on not just bygone times with family and bygone times with friends. I come from it from a more solitary position. I say let's reflect on trading strategies, trading trades. How you've performed over the last few weeks, how you've performed over the last few months, and really reflect on that. And because the only way that you really get better as a trader is seeing how the professional traders trade and seeing how you, more importantly, I guess, you trade and learn from your own mistakes. In terms of Bitcoin, I will not say hallelujah for Bitcoin. For me, I will never trade something. As much as I love to trade something on its way up, I will not trade Bitcoin because as we know from the Tim Sykes conference and what Doug said, if you have the conflicting indicators, then it's a no trade. So I don't know if TEUM. I don't think TEUM was Bitcoin related.
Well, they are actually they are one of the classics of penny stocks. You know, and you talk about, you know, Tim Sykes, and obviously our investor and our friend. And if you've read his book, American Hedge Fund, which I highly recommend, it's very interesting, the parallels right now where, you know, he was buying stocks and shorting stocks that basically they would move 200-300% simply because they had a website now. You know, we're going back to the late 90s here. If you've read the book, you know that he would buy a stock just because it had a website. TEUM is actually one of the plays I mentioned. I still don't remember exactly what they did, but they issued some sort of press release that they were loosely tied with cryptocurrencies.
That is literally horrendous that they do that, and I'm appalled. I think it's Antichrist. I think it's almost satanic that these it's not satanic, but it's unethical that these companies should relate themselves to Bitcoin when clearly they're telling horrendous lies. Sure. But that, like, none of that is the point. The point is, and I know I've read American Hedge Fund by Tim Sykes, and I know that a lot of people are comparing the parallels of the .com era to the Bitcoin bubble, and for sure it's a bubble, and everyone thinks it'll probably hit 100.
It's a bubble. Listen to this evil. Here it is, the holidays, a time of family, friends, rejoicing, being thankful for all we have, and this evil short seller wants to call everything a bubble. Boom!
We know that Bitcoin is a bubble. We know that it's got no regulation. That
you know this?
I don't know.
You know these things?
No, and for that reason, I will not touch it. I will only take the safest place. But the thing is, for me, if you read an American hedge fund and you've got Tim Sykes saying, "Oh, I bought this with a .com bubble, and this had a .com name in it in the press release, and this website was going online," so fine. So for him, it was a long. My problem with this is, and it is literally parallel to parallel, that anything with Bitcoin in it, anything opening like a blockchain department, it seems to run. The problem is, where is your buy entry? Because
correct,
it's 50% up, and did Tim Sykes
have this? Or 200% or 300%?
Or 200%.
You know, it's like, yeah,
exactly. So you can't short it because it's 200% up. No, you can't short it because it's Bitcoin or blockchain. And you don't know how volatile it's going to be. You can't predict the mass mania. But you can't long it because it's 50% up on the day. So Tim Bone, in your veteran lieutenant experience, how do you play these mad Bitcoin stocks?
You know, the biggest thing I will say is, you know, first of all, you know what I'm going to say. You got to start with a plan, of course.
But how do you make a plan?
And that's what I was getting to. You know, really, if you're, you know, again, I agree with you that this is the, you know, irrational exuberance. Okay, Google irrational exuberance, and you'll see that mentioned a billion times in ties with the stock market. But in my opinion, now, number one, always know what you're trading, always know what you're buying. Go into these knowing they're sketchy, knowing they will fail. 99% of these trades will, or 99% of these tickers will fail. But the best way to approach it is, you know, use very small size and, you know, obviously have a wider stop, but have a concrete stop loss. So, you know, again, if you're trading, if your normal size is a couple thousand shares, I mean, you can make, you know, good money with 100 shares. I saw a guy with a verified trade on Profitly on LFI. Now, again, this is disclaimer here. This is very, very unusual, but this was a verified trade. He had 75 shares of LFIN and made $4,700 on a day trade. Now, that is an extreme outlier, but the point is 75, 100 shares of these, if you catch it at the right time, you can make, you know, $5, $10, $20 a share, and you're risking $1 or $2 or $1, maybe $2 a share. So your plan is set risk, I call it, where you decide, just like Dux always says, you know, there's a video recap of the conference, and I love the clip that they gave of Dux. He said, before he goes in the trade, he knows what he is willing to lose. So if you're buying a crazy cryptocurrency runner, number one, it's small size. Number two, you say, I'm willing to lose $1 a share. I'm willing to lose $2 a share because I know based on what these have been doing, they've been moving 5, 10, 20. I mean, again, extreme outlier. LFIN, I think it moved $100 in one day.
I mean, for me, I don't want to sound too negative, and being a negative short seller, maybe I am a bit negative, but I'm going to challenge you. And
you're rotten to your core. You know what? Actually, you're in Dubai. I need to get to UPS. It'll take a couple days. I've got a disgusting dark black bag of coal I'm sending to you so you can celebrate Christmas hating on every stock, hating on Bitcoin with your blocks of coal.
I've got a Steven Johnson pillowcase, so you can take some advice from us. So we'll both send in each other.
You can fill that pillowcase full of bags of coal and fling it over your shoulder, and then go down the street and just like Santa Claus, and hand out pieces of coal to all the other mean, bitter short sellers that you know.
Okay, Tim, I'm going to ask you this, and I'm going to challenge you as an early Christmas present to everyone who wants to learn. I'm going to present to you a case study from the short side, and I want you to present to me in return a more favorable, better argued case study towards the long side. So for me, my case study, my kind of average strategy today, and I've just crossed profitability. I was down 4K. I'm just up over $100. So
nice. No. And again, obviously we're having fun here, but you know I go back to where we kind of started the conversation. I mean, your performance, respect, man. Your performance has been off the chain. Your consistency has been awesome. You know, obviously we're having fun. I didn't realize that you had, so. A lot of you guys that listen know that Steven has been very profitable in the short term the last few months since we started the podcast. But obviously he had, through losses here and there, he had a little bit of a hole. I did not realize overall you're green now. Awesome.
Yeah, overall I'm green now. So yes, thank you so much. And it's funny to say that on this episode. And I didn't expect it.
Merry Christmas.
And Merry Christmas for the short sellers. No, I was down $1,000, and then I made about 400 over the last few days, and then another 500 a day, and I was just like, oh, it happened all of a sudden. I didn't expect it. But that's not the point. The point is, let me put my short case forward, and then you can put your long case forward, and we'll see who the listeners agree with.
This sounds like a showdown.
I wish we could do it, Paul. This is the closest one.
I think we'll have a
Twitter poll.
Yeah, or we could. It sounds like a showdown. We could do a obviously we can't responsibly trade real money in a competition. That would be very reckless and very counter to the Steady Trade podcast. But perhaps we should have a Steady Trade paper trading competition where you bring your evil Sith Lord ideas, and I look to go long some blockchain plays.
And I mean, that's quite a scary thing. And we'll go to the thesis of my short and your long. But the scary thing is I'm young, I'm risk averse, I'm diverse in terms of plays. I'm up and coming, I'm determined. I'm the guy without the family who is putting the time into studying. I think that it's a no-brainer for me. I mean, if anything, you're the guy who's got a lot to lose. I would not be proposing that if I was you.
We could try it.
You have the knowledge. You have the knowledge. I'm not disrespecting you. You have the knowledge.
I think we should do this on an upcoming episode where we have maybe, obviously we're going into the end of the year. Maybe the first or one of the first episodes of January is we have again, paper trading. It would be very, very irresponsible to trade real money. But we have a podcast where we go mano y mano.
But let's just go long versus short right now, because a lot of traders who are learning are thinking, shall I go long? Shall I go short? And obviously, short's not for everyone. For everyone, you can't get the right broker when you go short and stuff like that. Interactive brokers, it's a good broker to go short. You can't get every short, but you can still find enough shorts to be profitable.
But interactive brokers, yep.
Oh my God, dude, it's my favorite broker of all time. But let's just go long versus short. So for me, in the current circumstances, in the current financial climate, blockchain is running, Bitcoin is running. And for me, you can't long Bitcoin because it is up 50%, up 40%, completely irrational, completely unpredictable, completely irrational. You never know when it's going to come down. You never know when the bubble is going to burst. It's laid on completely ridiculous fundamentals. There's no regulation on it. So for me, you can't go long, you can't go short. So I will look for the biotechs. I will look for the stocks up 40, 50, 60% on companies with proven terrible fundamentals, on stocks that have proven to sell off with big wicks and fail day after day after day. For stocks that have proven to come from $10 to $4, then they'll spike up to $8. They'll have a ton of bag holders you're getting in. When the shorts have covered, the long-term shorts have covered, and the buyers are selling into a key resistance point, and I will short that. Now, I would like to challenge you to tell me, how is going Bitcoin a better probability setup than this?
Well, number one, I 100% agree with you. Actually,
you can't do that.
Well, yeah, let me work my way out of the corner I've painted myself into. What I love what you're doing is, again, there is a time and a place for both strategies. Again, for 8 of my 10 years, I was 99% a short seller. So
you are a short seller. You are a short seller.
I do. You've seen me live in StocksToTrade Pro. When I actually do short a stock, I get giddy. I can't, but anyway, what I love what you're doing is you're shorting stocks that have popped up that aren't in the hot sector. That is so I 100% agree with you. Now that's where, you try shorting something. NETE today went from, $4 to 22, dropped to 16, and I see now it's back at the highs on the day. You short that stock when it is sketchy. But
just to say that I did short CCIH the other day, it doubled since the short, and that is price.
Yeah, but CCIH again, I like that one because that one was non-blockchain related, no news. So again,
but it did go to the fives. You've got to cut your losses though.
Right. I think where guys get in trouble, and one of the reasons I do this proselytizing all the time, and I know I butchered that word, is so many people want to do what you're not doing. They want to go short the hot sector, and that is where you get torched. So no, I totally agree with you. But now, where I would say the higher probability and what is better, especially for new traders, especially listeners of this podcast or new or intermediate traders, I say you need to learn how to go long first. Okay. If you come in and you see guys, whether it be on Twitter or wherever, that are short, and you don't even know how to make $100 buying a stock, you got to get those mechanics down first. And the dilemma is, I think one of the reasons that you have been so successful the last couple months is because you got that Interactive Brokers account, which gave you more borrows, which gave you more flexibility. You're over the PDT, which gives you more flexibility. So you got to walk before you run. And one of the reasons I talk about being so long biased is I know our demographic on this podcast is primarily new traders to intermediate traders.
Yeah, no, I have to say the two main things that have helped me become profitable is one, it's the fact that a lot of new traders, they're not just going long, but they're looking to take 2%, 3%, 5%. And nobody is saying the bigger picture. They're too worried about me. Commissions are $6 or $10, and I need to make $40. And if I make $40, I've got to cut it. But with Interactive Brokers, not only you have the ability to have $1 commissions and you're also on the short side, but I'm looking at 30 cents, 40 cents is risk sometimes. And I'm really looking at the big picture. I'm thinking ultimately this stock will come down. Ultimately this stock will fail. And too many new traders are looking at taking a 3-4% gain. And this is where I've really got profitable.
So we've got some big things planned for the new year. We'd like to thank everybody for listening. We've, I think, we've accomplished some great things with the SteadyTrade podcast. Just getting started. I think we got started, mid-September. So we're just a couple months into this thing. We appreciate all the listeners, appreciate all the comments. a bunch of amazing comments, a bunch of, we appreciate your iTunes reviews. And that's really, we appreciate you giving back to us. We've seen a lot of comments about people saying they enjoy the entertainment aspects as well as the educational aspects. And that's really Steven's and my goal is, whether I'm 10 years into trading or he's a year into trading, this is really our way to give back. And obviously this is that time of year to give back. So would like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, whether or not you celebrate Christmas where you are. And we're looking forward to some great things in the next year. So Steven, I know you're away from home, how do you celebrate Christmas?
No, just
other than with a bag of coal in a pillowcase with your own face emblazoned on it.
No, it's been an insane year for me, and I think you look at Christmas and you look at the new year, and I think a lot of people don't really reflect on success year by year. They look at it over like a weekly or a monthly basis, and I think an important tip is when you're working hard towards getting successful in stocks or whatever you're trying to do, look at it year on year. Don't look at it week on week, month on month. Think, where was I last year? Where am I this year? Where will I be in another 3 years' time?
Yeah.
So for that, go on.
Trading is, the dilemma is you can make $100 a day, $1,000 a day, $10,000 a day. So many traders look at it on a day basis. And again, that's one of the things I greatly respect about you is 14 months into this journey.
He's too nice to us now.
No.
Well, too nice to us. What's going on?
Well, I guess we'll kind of wrap this episode up with, again, wishing everybody a Merry Christmas, a happy holidays. And I can't help but divulge, in addition to the coal, this is probably our last podcast of the year. So I'm going to let you know the present, so as we were on this podcast, I was on my Amazon account. I ordered you a razor, and so my New Year's resolution for Steven is to get rid of about 50 pounds of body hair. Not body fat. I'm not asking you to go to the gym on January 1st. I'm just looking for you to dispatch some of this exceedingly excessive body hair. I don't know what steroids you're taking. I don't know what supplements you're taking, but man. You are the stock market bear, my friend.
It was the night before Christmas when all through the house, Jeevan was staring with his pet mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, but Jeevan didn't even care if St. Nicholas would soon be there. Because Jeevan wrote this poem with something better to say, that the magic of Christmas should extend beyond just one day. And through seasoned sacrifices from December till May, Jeevan would be destined for greatness each and every day. And when out on the lawns there arose such a clatter, Jeevan sprang from the bed to see just what was the matter. And away to the window Jeevan flew with his tail. He tore the shutters down to see crowds singing, "We will not fail." Jeevan ran downstairs into the snow, wondering if his beloved Sarah could be found below. But when what to his wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer, and with the old little driver so lively and quick, Jeevan said, "Oh shit, it's probably old Saint Nick." In his gaze it sounds most certainly lame. Jeevan lay saddened he'd lost his dear companion Sarah. Yes, that is her plant name. But now Sarah has died, that means you listeners are tied. So let's embark on a trading journey. Like a wild hurricane we will fly. And when we meet with an obstacle, together we'll mount to the sky. So up to the houses, together we will fly. We'll go above and beyond the haters. We'll say F you, bye bye. And Jeevan spoke only a few words more, then went straight to work and filled all the stockings before turning with a jerk. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they flew like the down of a thistle. but I heard him explain, "I'll see you later," out of sight. And Merry Christmas, but live the dream above and beyond just tonight.
Hi, this is Latrina from Frederick, Maryland, and I like to clean my kitchen while listening to Stephen and Tim on the SteadyTrade podcast. You can register to win prizes at their website, SteadyTrade.com. And if you really like what you hear, give the podcast a 5-star rating and write a short review on iTunes. I did. And this is how we say goodbye in Frederick, Maryland.
Ho, ho, ho.
Stephen the red-nosed ray trader was always drinking. God damn it, I'll get it. Stephen the red-nosed trader had a very shiny nose because he was always drinking. Oh.